Everything that exists is tied to its source. You take a star out of the heavens and it ceases to have its purpose. Take a plant out of the soil, a fish out of the water, and take a man and a woman and separate them from God, and they cannot live up to their divine reason for being. And that is the tragedy, I believe, for so many. They cannot answer the question, why am I here? What is my divine reason for being? Is it to accumulate wealth? Of course. Is it to live the American dream? Sure. Is it to have the house behind in the gated community, drive this kind of car? All that's great. To have a family? Sure, it's wonderful. To acquire academic excellence, physical excellence, all that's great. But there is a divine reason for being. And when you discover that, and you can only discover that by asking the Creator.
Hey, welcome to Life Family Online. We post content each week. We'd love for you to subscribe to our account and click that little bell. It'll notify you each time we post something new. Let's jump into God's Word with Pastor Randy.
Well, I've started a message series called Be the Difference. I'm a difference maker. Everybody say, I am a difference maker. To the person on the left and right of you, say, you are a difference maker. We're taking this out of the book of Hebrews. Hebrews, I believe, was written by the Apostle Paul to Jesus' followers who were struggling. These were Jewish people, and they were conflicted because they had an expectation of who Jesus would be, but he did not meet their expectation. So they were wondering, should we go back to our customs? And Hebrews is written to those Jewish believers to say Jesus is greater and better than anything that you could conceive. To those of you that have never been at the crossroads of faith, you've never suffered a deep loss, and you expected God to come through for you in healing, but he didn't. Or you had a project and you needed God to say, Lord, let this go in my favor, but it did not. If you've never had someone walk away from you, or if you've never been a single adult and said, I thought by now, Lord, you would have given me a godly companion. If you've never been at those crossroads, then you will. But most of us have been at that crossroads. Who has been at that crossroads before? So Hebrews was written for you. Hebrews 12. Therefore, since we are surrounded by such a huge crowd of witnesses to the life of faith, let us strip off every weight that slows us down, especially the sin that so easily trips us up. And let us run with endurance the race God has set before us. So God has set before each of you your own particular race. How do you run it? We do this by keeping our eyes on Jesus, the champion who initiates and perfects our faith. Because of the joy awaiting him, he endured the cross, disregarding its shame, and now he is seated in the place of honor beside God's throne. So take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. I love that. Make out a straight path for your feet so those who are weak and lame will not fall, but become strong. I would say that we all in 2020 have become tired. Not maybe physically tired, emotionally tired, and just wondering, when's the next shoe going to fall? And to those of us who are thinking that, it can kind of neutralize the good things that God's doing in our life. The Apostle Paul says to me and to you, just like Jesus did, take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. You are a difference maker. A difference maker understands their source. Your parents are not your source. They just gladly participated in the plan God already had for you. Before time began, Genesis 1, there was God. God did not begin at the beginning. God began the beginning. In the beginning, God. And God, being a creator, began to create. When he wanted planets and stars, he spoke to the sky. When he wanted fish, he spoke to the sea. When he wanted plants, he spoke to the soil. But when he wanted me and you, he spoke to himself. Genesis 1:26. Let us make man in our image, in our likeness. Everything that exists is tied to its source. You take a star out of the heavens and it ceases to have its purpose. Take a plant out of the soil, a fish out of the water, and take a man and a woman and separate them from God, and they cannot live up to their divine reason for being. And that is the tragedy, I believe, for so many. They cannot answer the question, why am I here? What is my divine reason for being? Is it to accumulate wealth? Of course. Is it to live the American dream? Sure. Is it to have the house behind in the gated community, drive this kind of car? All that's great. To have a family? Sure, it's wonderful. To acquire academic excellence, physical excellence, all that's great. But there is a divine reason for being. And when you discover that, and you can only discover that by asking the Creator. 1 Corinthians 2:9 says it this way, eye has not seen nor ear heard, neither has it entered into the heart of man, the things, plural, which God has what? For them that love him, prepared. He put it in you in advance to be a difference maker. When you want to know the specific purpose of an object, you don't necessarily have to ask the object, you ask who created it. Why did you create this? God, why did you create me, and what is my divine reason for being? How am I to be a difference maker? So you are tied to your source. For all of you who have tired hands and weak knees due to the circumstances around you, the Lord comes to you again today to say, Washington is not your source. Your career is not your source. I, the Lord God Almighty, am your source. Knowing that, a difference maker lives up to their potential. All of us have the potential to be so much more than we currently are. Potential. What is potential? Potential is the sum of who you are that has yet to be revealed. High school stars get recruited by college recruiters and coaches, and they're looking for the sum of who that young athlete is that is yet to be revealed. If we get them on our team through our strength coaches and our speed coaches, nutrition coaches, we can take them here. You have unbelievable potential to be a difference maker. You just don't see yourself as having all that much potential yet. Ladies marry men because of potential. Men see ladies and say, wow, she's beautiful. I need her in my life immediately. A woman looks at a man and says, I can do something with that. There's potential there. Where are you, ladies? You know what I'm talking about. You are capable of more than you are presently doing. You are capable of more than you presently believe of yourself. True success is not measuring yourself against what someone else has accomplished. True success is measuring yourself compared to what God says you can accomplish. God put within everything the amazing exponential ability to exceed its potential. Genesis talks about within the seed there is a potential to reproduce itself and much, much more. In every acorn there's a forest. In every fish there's a school. In every bird there's a flock. In every girl there's a woman. In every boy there is a man. In every covenant there is a family. In every family there is a generation. And in every generation there is a nation. The potential of who you are is staggering. Stop hanging around people who are trying to dumb down your destiny. Get around people who are speaking life into you. And get around those couples who have healthy marriages and emulate them. And get around people who are generous, not stingy, and say, I want to be just like that. I want to be a difference maker. Stop following people who are negative and narrow and stingy. That's not who you are. A person said to me, every time I read this person's post, my blood pressure boils, and I get so angry, and it makes my head want to explode. I said, Mom, did I say that? I said, Mom, stop following them. And she said, baby, then I wouldn't know what they were saying. Exactly. There's a nursery rhyme in the 1800s. It's so positive and encouraging. Solomon Grundy, born on Monday, christened on Tuesday, married on Wednesday, taken ill on Saturday, died on Sunday, and that was the end of Solomon Grundy. What a positive, encouraged thing. Be sure and read that to your kids tonight. But in it just encapsulates the narrow-minded, stingy people who don't see possibility all around them. I was placed here to be a difference in someone else's life. That's it. I don't have to change the world. I just have to change somebody's world. I'm reminded of the young couple that was walking down the street, holding hands, and they saw this precious wrinkled man sitting up on his porch, rocking, and he was smiling. And the couple holding hands said, let's go back and talk to him. So they went back and they said, Sir, can you tell us the secret of happiness in your long life? And the man just was rocking. He said, well, sure. I consume vast amounts of social media every day. I drink whiskey, a bottle of whiskey, and I smoke 2 packs of cigarettes a day. And the couple was stunned, and they said, every day? He said, every day. They said, well, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you? He said, 26. Thank you. Don't need no Torrin Wells when you got jokes like that. Hebrews 12:12. Take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. Make out a straight path for your feet. Why? So that those who are weak and lame will not fall, but become strong. Apostle Paul says, above you there is a cloud of witnesses. They say there's a cloud of witnesses cheering everybody on. That'd make a good song. If I could find a writer for it. You're not just walking into your potential because of you. There are other people following you. So take a new grip with your tired hands. Maybe it's just not meant to be for me. Maybe my ministry will always be on the shelf. Maybe my past will haunt me forever. No. Take a new grip with your tired hands and strengthen your weak knees. You haven't seen anything yet. A difference maker pours themselves out. The sad thing that I've seen in my years of pastoring and living is just people that hoard and hold their greatness and hold and hoard their wealth. They don't see the greater vision of God's advancing kingdom in the world. They just think it's me and mine, and some of that's good, but I think the thing I would love to see talented people do, gifted people, resourceful people, is there's a higher cause. Not too long ago, I walked on the most valuable real estate that you've ever walked on. It was more valuable than the oil fields in the Middle East, more valuable than diamond mines in South Africa, more valuable piece of real estate than a square mile of downtown Manhattan, although it's not quite as expensive and valuable as it used to be. It's right around the corner from where I am, those of you watching. It's just right around the corner. It's called Cook Walden Cemetery. And I get to walk on that sod sometimes, and underneath that ground are words that were left unspoken, canvases that were never filled with paint, poems that were never penned, chasms never bridged, classes never taught, businesses never started, inventions never designed, risk never dared. They kept it and they died full. 2 Timothy 4:6, the Apostle Paul says, "As for me, my life has already been poured out as an offering to God. The Lord is not going to give me an escape clause out of this prison. The time of my death is near." And so I can summarize it with this trilogy of words: I fought a good fight, I finished the race, I remain faithful. I fought a good fight, I finished the race, I remain faithful. Paul said, at the time of my death, I am in a nostalgic mood and I'm taking inventory of my life. And I'm empty. I have nothing left. I'm poured out as an offering. Probably he was talking about the high priest when the high priest would make atonement for the sins of Israel, Yom Kippur. The priest would have a full glass of wine and intermittently throughout the ceremony would pour some of the wine out until the cup was completely empty, and then he would clean it and turn it upside down, signifying the ceremony, the inventory of the sins of Israel and the accomplishments of Israel was complete, is finished, it's empty, it's done. I want to take inventory of my own life. I want you to take inventory of yours. I want you to pour yourself out with the time you have remaining, and I want you to die empty. I used to sing in a singing group. We haven't sung in such a long time. I miss singing. I miss concerts. It used to, when we go on tour, you wake up in a different city every day. You don't know where you are. It's just a different hotel, different place. But what keeps you kind of sane is the routine. You got to have a routine, and our road manager fiercely guards that routine. We get to the venue at a certain time. We do sound check at a certain time. We get dressed at a certain time. We do catering at a certain time. We do a meet and greet at a certain time. Then we go. We do the concert. There's an intermission. Second half. Then there's used to be autograph signing. And then, you go back, you shower, get on the bus, do the same thing, different city. Well, what keeps your head sort of straight is the routine. So when the promoter said to me, "Hey, would you mind if I bring a couple back to meet you before catering or during catering?" I was very resistant of it. I just said, talk to our road manager. And then I said to the road manager, no. Tell him no. And then they came back and said, this guy is an amazing guy. He is a believer in Jesus Christ, electrical engineer, started a great business, incredible amount of wealth. But watch this. In the community, took on fatherlessness. Young men whose fathers abandoned them or died or incarcerated. And he came around those young men, helped them start businesses, gave them a trade, gave them a hand up. In other words, he poured himself out. Well, he has brain cancer, and this wonderful electrical engineer is in a wheelchair now. I think I may have a picture of him. There he is. Bill Ryerson, Mary Ryerson. So they said through his extreme treatments, what kept him going through was your music. In particular, since he was immobilized, he loved the song, Let My Words Be Few, particularly the chorus that said, so I'll stand in awe of you. He loved that because he could see himself standing. So would you let him come back? It's his dying wish to see your concert and to meet you guys. Is that okay? Yes. It's fine. And so he came back. His motor skills were impaired. He had 3 handsome, stunningly handsome sons that were so tall. They came in with him, their families. And he would try to say stuff to us, but I couldn't understand him. So his wife would say, he loves your song. You know, Let My Words Be Few meant so much to him. I said, thank you. She said, do you think you'll be singing that tonight? I said, yes. Then when they left, I told the band, learn Let My Words Be Few quickly. And so, you know, in singing, I know a lot of you are good singers, and if you're emotional, you can't sing. You just can't. You can't hold the note. You can't find the note. So I was just saying, Lord, don't let him sit in front of me when I'm singing. I won't be able to sing. Well, they set him right in front of me. And it was a fan-shaped auditorium. It was a couple of thousand people, and he was right there. I could, every song was filtered through the lens of him getting ever closer to eternity. And they just meant so much more to me, seeing it through his eyes. And I was looking at the set list, and we were getting closer and closer to Let My Words Be Few. And I was conflicted in my heart of how is he going to respond to this? And so when it started, the intro, and when Dan Dean started to sing, you are God in heaven, and here am I on earth. Well, he started thrashing wildly in his chair. And I thought, Lord Jesus, he's going home to be with the Lord right here. I didn't know what to do, but he started, and the 3 boys got up and they came around him, and he said something to them or something, and they're like, oh. So they got underneath his arms, and he stood. He just wanted to stand. So when I got home, I called the radio station and I said, how's Bill doing? And they said, Bill passed about 4 days after your concert. And I can just see him now. No wheelchair. Don't need his boys to assist him. He's standing before the throne. And he didn't die full. He died empty. And that's what a difference maker does. So sing this. You are God in heaven, and here am I on earth. So I'll let my words be few. Hey, Jesus, chorus with me, everybody. And I'll stand in awe of you, Jesus. Yes, I'll stand in awe of you. Yes, and I'll let Jesus, I'm so in love with you. God has placed so much in you. God has given you so much. And He simply asks you, will you partner with me? I'm sitting on the throne. Lord, what are you going to do about this broken world? What are you going to do about the broken world? I've done my part. I sat down. Now you go be a difference maker. Who will be a difference maker with the Lord? Who will do it? I'll do it. I'll do it. I take my brokenness and my embrace of Jesus Christ, and I just say, Lord, whoever's life you put me in, I'm going to tell them. Yeah, here's how I got through that divorce. Here's how I survived abuse. Here's how I got through cancer. Here's what happened to me. Here's how I did it. It was Jesus. It was Jesus.
If you don't have a home church, we want to invite you to be part of Life Family. Remember, you belong here. We're so excited that you've joined us today. Join us again next Sunday or anytime throughout the week. You can subscribe to our channel and hit that bell for notifications so you never miss a service. We're so excited you joined us today.